All right, shalom, shalom. We're coming to Proverbs chapter 4 finally. I've been wanting to get to this for a while. We just had a lot of things going on. The weather's going crazy. My wife wasn't feeling good. And we actually have snow outside right now. So keep us in prayer. Hopefully the power stays on. But either way, have my good old trusty tea right here. And it says, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. That's a good cup to have. And the tea in it's really good. All right, so let's get to chapter 4 verse 1. It has 27 verses, so it's not that lengthy, and we'll just read it. And for those of you who are just reading along, and then for those of you who want to stay for a small study afterwards, you're more than welcome to stay. Okay, so chapter 4 of Proverbs, beginning at verse 1. Listen, children, to a father's instructions, and be attentive, that you may gain insight. For I give you good precepts. Do not forsake my teachings. When I was a son with my father, tender and my mother's favorite, he taught me and said to me, Let your heart hold fast my words. Keep my commandments alive. Get wisdom, get insight. Do not forget nor turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not forsake her, and she will keep you. Love her, and she will guard you. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, and whatever else you get insight. Prize her highly, and she will exalt you. She will honor you if you embrace her. She will place on your head a fair garland. She will bestow on you a beautiful crown. Hear, my child, and accept my words, that the years of your life may be many. I have taught you the way of wisdom. I have led you in the path of uprightness. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered, and if you run, you will not stumble. Keep hold of instruction. Do not let go. Guard her, for she is your life. Do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not walk in the way of the evildoer. Avoid it. Do not go on it. Turn away from it and pass on. For they cannot sleep unless they have done wrong. They are robbed of sleep unless they have made someone stumble. For they eat of the bread of wickedness, and they drink the wine of violence. But the path of righteousness is like a light of dawn, which shineth brighter and brighter until the full day. The way of the wicked is like a deep darkness. They do not know what they stumble over. My child, be attentive to my words. Incline your ears to my sayings. Do not let them escape from your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh. Keep your heart with all diligence, for from it flows the spring of life. Put away from you crooked speech, and put devious talk far from you. Let your eyes look directly forward, and your gaze be straight before you. Keep straight the path of your feet, and all your ways will be sure. Do not swerve to the right nor to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. And that's the end of chapter 4 of Proverbs. That's 27 verses. And let me see if I can get this a little clearer here. Sorry about that. Didn't really have too much time to set things up, but I'm doing my best. All right, so as we get to if you're just reading, then we're pretty much done with that, and hopefully you can read it over and over again or listen to it over and over again, however you want to do it. But let's get into a small study of this. It's really cold out here. I got 2 sweaters on. It's still cold, but I was driving to from work home today, and it started hailing, and when I got home it started snowing. So I've never seen it snow this much before, but it's a blessing. It really is. I love the snow. I love the rain. So it's just a beautiful thing. All right. So from verse 1 through 9, the verses in chapter 4, they urge us to a fervent or a unmovable loyalty towards wisdom, to love her, to embrace her, as she was a beloved wife. As a husband would embrace a beloved wife in his youth, and he just falls head over heels with her, and he just wants the best for her and wants to show her that he can do anything, that he can prove himself to her, and he just will never let her go, never let her out of her sight, always wants to be around her. I remember when I was first courting my wife, and I always wanted to be around her, and I asked her father if I can take her out, and he was like, sure, you can take her out on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Sundays. And I thought that was kind of weird, you know. And to come to find out, I was able to take her out in church. That's when they had their church services. So he kind of pulled a fast one on me, but it helped me out in the long run. So, but I was always wanting to be around her, always wanted to spend time with her, always wanted to hear her, talk with her, write notes back and forth to each other. We just were falling in love, you know, young love. And it's actually stood the test of time. And so that's how we want to grab wisdom and never let her go. And this is what verses 1 through 9 are stating, you know. Get wisdom, get insight, do not forget nor turn away. You know, the beginning of wisdom is to get wisdom. And whatever else you get insight. So it's just telling you, just get it, get wisdom everywhere you can, get wisdom. If it's from somebody else's life experience that you're reading about, or your grandfather, your father, your mother, your grandmother, they're teaching you something, open your ears and listen intently to the things that are pouring and streaming out of them. And sometimes if they're repeating something over and over again, and you're trying to figure out how come they always talk about the same thing, maybe because they don't really believe you do understand what they're talking about, because they've lived it. They really know what's going on. They understand things that we don't. So let's listen intently. All right, and so verses 10 through 27, there it talks about the two paths, a path of wisdom and a path that's contrast to that, a path of the wicked. And it warns us not to go down that path. Don't even step near it. Don't even listen to it. Don't give your ears to it or your speech. There's so many warnings about the things that are going on here, and even how the wicked are robbed from their sleep because they have so much in their mind. They're always thinking of evil, deceitful things. They have no rest. They have no real shalom. They don't have peace. And we don't want to be those people that don't have peace. I mean, my whole goal in my life is to live a life of peace with me, my family, and our home. And the Father has really blessed with that. We have peace here. And when we have people come and visit, we have a joyous time. We have an awesome time. We get together and we just have like a little celebration every time people come here. And sometimes it's not so little. Sometimes it's really big, but we have a good time. So 23 through 26, I'll get into some other stuff in a little bit, but let me just cover the basics. 23 through 26, it says, above everything else, guard your heart, for out of it are the issues of life. Let's see, the heart is the central organ which conditions all man's activities and upon whose correct function depends on the character of his living. Do not let bad seeds be planted in the heart. It will poison the rest of the body. Guard your heart by guarding your lips, your eyes, your ears, and your steps. I wrote this earlier when I was reading this. Parts of this were from footnotes from a bunch of different things, but a lot of this I wrote as I was reading this. And so I'm reading this, and what it's talking about, there's certain things that the Bible tells us to guard, and our heart's one of them that is constantly being brought up. Not only your heart, but your mind, and also to guard those things that come out of you. So we can guard our ears by not letting people gossip into them, not people tell dirty jokes into them. Foolishness, constant foolishness is really bad. You know, some comedies, you know, they're okay, but a constant foolishness is not a good thing, because what you put in is what you'll get out. And if you're constantly looking at foolish things, one day you may look in the mirror and see a fool, and hopefully none of us will experience that. But to guard your heart, there's a word for guard, and it's called shomer. And the word shomer means to guard, but not only to stand as a guard, but like to put a shield around it. And it's not just a shield. It's like a force field, like you would see in something like Star Trek or Star Wars. You would see a complete orb, or an orb around it, something completely encircling you and protecting you. And so that's what you want to do with your heart. Now remember, your heart is not just this muscle in your body that's beating and pumping blood, but it does show you something. So the heart inside of you it pumps blood throughout the rest of the body and gives life to the body and flushes out old blood that has been filled with disease and whatever else. It flushes it out and brings new blood in and brings oxygen to the body. It's a pump that pumps all of life into the rest of the body. So the heart is very, very important. So in the spiritual aspect, the heart is pumping either goodness or something wicked into the body, and the body can get very, very sick. So how is your spirit man doing? How is the spirit being of your most inner being doing right now? Is it filled full of life and delight and prosperity? And, you know, just like you have, like, man, you just have all these big goals ahead of you, and you just know deep inside they're going to come forth, and you wake up with good ideas of how to help people and and do something great for somebody else, because it can't just always be about us. And, you know, guarding your heart, the things that you see, is part of guarding your heart. In the Hebrew, the heart also means the mind. So your mind is also part of your heart, what is the understanding of the Hebrew. So your mind is going to be filled with several things. It matters what you put in, what goes in your ears, what goes through your eyes, and what comes out of your mouth. Because if you proclaim something out of your mouth, it will come to pass in your life somewhere, somehow. And especially if you constantly saying it, and that's what you believe, and that's all your mind is pondering upon, that will come into fruition one day, sooner or later, because you're calling it forth. And especially if you're a believer and you're a child of the King, you've been given some power and authority by the King. And we have a commanding attribute that's given to us by the things that we speak. And so we can speak health into our life. We can speak wealth into our life. We can speak happiness. We can speak joy. We can speak longevity. We can speak all kinds of beautiful, awesome things into our life. You know, friends, you know. I remember one time we were praying and we were asking the Father, you know, give us people to bless. Give us people we can go and help. And even if they don't know that it's us, you know, just make a way. And He actually did that for us. So what are we doing with all that? So just how you protect your heart. You know, what are you reading? What are you watching on TV or on your phone? What's really going on? What are you letting enter into this eye gate? These are gates. And if you understand who stands at the gate of the King's city, it's Yeshua, it's Jesus Himself. And He's watching who's coming in and going out. And He will not allow people who don't belong there in. And inside the city is His people. And so if you understand what a sheep's coat is is something that a shepherd will go out and build a wall around it, like in a circle or a square, and it have one opening, which would be where the doorway is, and he would actually be there standing in the doorway, becoming the door. And on the wall, he would put potsherds, you know, broken glass and broken pottery on top, and thorns and stuff to try to keep other animals out from coming in and eating the sheep. And he would stand at the door. And then when he would call the sheep, they would only answer his voice. And that's what the Bible says, my sheep, they know my voice, and a stranger they answer not. And then he says, I am the way, and I am the truth, and I am the life. And he also says that he is the door and the way. And so the word way is derech in Hebrew, and deresh from dalet, from the door. And so he is the way and he's the door. And the only way into that kingdom is through him. And we know that the only way to the Father is through Yahushua, Jesus. And so you see those things always interlocking, in how they, in Hebrew, they all start making sense when he says those things. And then we understand that how he made a sheep's coat for us in a desert place. And that's where we're at right now. These are the sheep's coat that he's made in this desert time, in this world. And he's standing at the doors, the gates, and watching what's coming in and what's going out. But are we allowing stuff to go past him? Are we inviting stuff in? So we need to be very careful about what we let come into these vessels and what we let come into our heart. Because if you let bad seed be planted into your heart, then bad things will grow one day. And we got to make sure that we don't let those things grow. We have to plant the good seed. And according to the parables of Yeshua, the good seed is the word of Elohim. It is the word of God. And so we allow the goodness of who he is and the goodness of the seed of the word to fall on this good ground. He will surely water it with the waters of shalom, and he will cause it to grow like he's caused everything else to grow. And that's just a little part of just chapter 4, that warning not to follow the wicked path, to guard your heart, to love wisdom like a brand new wife, a beautiful wife that you just married, and maybe for that, a woman can't understand that. So maybe how about a brand new baby that you just birthed out, that you carried for 9 months, and now you have your little baby, and you're looking at his little face or her little face, and you're just falling in love, like, oh, how did this beautiful creation come out of me? And you just know that there's a real Elohim out there that brought you such a precious gift of life. That's how wisdom is, and that's how we're supposed to cherish it. And wisdom is found in the Bible. Let's get back to reading our Bibles. Let's get back to understanding the beauty and all the essence the Father has put in here for us. And just keep on reading. Read the Proverbs over and over again. We're on chapter 4. We'll have chapter 5 soon. I'm trying to do my best to get as much out as I can, as fast as I can. But I do work, and time is limited, and I travel far. So just keep us in prayer. And my wife is getting better. She's almost better. She's not 100% yet, but she's getting there. My father's healing her. And we have beautiful snow outside, so hopefully we'll go and play in it tomorrow. All right, well, shalom, shalom. I hope you enjoy this. And if you, share it with somebody else, and subscribe if you like this. And hopefully you come back and you see, you're with us for chapter 5. All right, shalom, shalom.